ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਵੈਸੇ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਯਾਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਲਾਈਵ ਸ਼ੋਜ਼ ਦਾ ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟ੍ਰਕਚਰ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂਗਾ।
Diljit Dosanj said something during his recent concert in Chandigarh that may have triggered an extremely important debate, or rather, a critical problem that India needs to address at the earliest.
ਵੈਸੇ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਯਾਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਲਾਈਵ ਸ਼ੋਜ਼ ਦਾ ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟ੍ਰਕਚਰ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂਗਾ। ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਰੈਵਨਿਊ ਹੈ, ਕਿੰਨੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਮ ਮਿਲਦਾ, ਕਿੰਨੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਧਿਆਨ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ। ਮੈਂ ਟਰਾਈ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਅਗਲੀ ਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਟੇਜ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਸੈਂਟਰ 'ਚ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਆਲੇ ਦੁਆਲੇ ਹੋਵੋ ਸਾਰੇ। ਜਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਕਰਦਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਪੱਕਾ। ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਮੇਰੀ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰਿਸ਼ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟ੍ਰਕਚਰ ਹੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਕਰੋ ਯਾਰ, ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤੰਗ ਕਰਨ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟ੍ਰਕਚਰ ਵਧੀਆ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਯਾਰ ਪਲੀਜ਼।
The thrill of live music is of course undeniable, and recent performances by Diljit, Karan Aujla, Bryan Adams, Maroon 5, Dua Lipa and AP Dhillon drew massive crowds, showcasing India's growing appetite for live music events. Even Coldplay's multiple concerts in India are sold out. But behind this craze lies a harsh reality that's leaving fans fed up and artists disillusioned.
These are monumental lapses that we keep seeing again and again and again. We lack in almost all aspects. And I will dwell a bit on because it's important for everybody to understand how this whole game plays out.
Diljit expressed his frustration with India's subpar concert infrastructure. From inadequate stage setups to poor audience connectivity, Dosanj's experience led him to declare that he wouldn't perform in India again until things improved. Fans have taken to social media to share their own horror stories. At a Karan Aujla concert in New Delhi, fistfights broke out and several attendees reported stolen phones and wallets. And let's not forget the Bryan Adams concert where a diabetic attendee's medical needs went unmet due to lack of proper facilities. Livemint discussed the issue with Vijay Iyer, a noted and experienced professional in the industry who has largely worked with A.R. Rahman and Mithun.
So, for example, what an artist will want is easy access to the venue. For example, now Coldplay is at D.Y. Patil Nerul. And for anybody coming in from Mumbai city to get to Nerul on the concert day, I'm saying, is going to be one hell of a... Because let's start from the basics. When you go to a concert, you are expecting parking space, right? Now, clearly demarcated parking space. You are expecting a walkthrough because you bought the tickets online digitally through a portal. So you're expecting a walkthrough when you park your car and get out. You're expecting a walkthrough in terms of just scan a barcode and walk into your particular section of what you bought in. Then you would expect good, well, at least, if not good, at least average sanitation facilities, which means toilets, drinking water. Those are basics, right? If you have a venue with thousands and thousands of people, how does one access, a toilet? How does one access drinking water? The more important question, these are basics. The more important questions are, what happens in case of, God forbid, a tragedy? What happens in case of a medical emergency? Is there an ambulance on standby? What happens in case of a fire? Are the fire exits clearly marked? Do people know where to go in case of a tragedy? These are monumental lapses that we keep seeing again and again and again. So if you distinguish it between the basics and what can happen in extraordinary circumstances, I think we lack in almost all aspects. So if on the day of the show, despite all assurances, everything is going to fall apart, then who do you hold responsible? The sad part is the fans are coming for the artist. So it becomes a Coldplay show, it becomes an A.R. Rahman show, it becomes a Mithun show. And it is that artist's name and credibility at stake. But the culprits always get away scot-free.
India's concert infrastructure is crumbling under the weight of rising demand. Despite fans shelling out up to Rs 35,000 for top-tier tickets, basic amenities like clean washrooms, reliable parking, and proper crowd management remains elusive. Organizers are left scrambling to create makeshift solutions while fans endure the chaos.
It's a huge checklist. It could be as, sometimes it's a no-brainer in terms of, forget the access to the hotel from the airport and all of that. That's very, very elementary. But I'm saying at a concert venue, for example, and this is where I think the difference between what we do and between what venues elsewhere do, that's where it comes in.
In smaller cities, the problem is even worse, with makeshift stages and limited technical capabilities becoming the norm. It's not a new phenomena though, holding concerts. Indian cities have been key destinations to hold concerts by artists from across the globe and India as well.
Now, as far as an Indian act is concerned or an Indian artist is concerned, there is really no criteria on how they choose which location or city to perform in. If somebody like a Book My Show or somebody offers them a multi-city deal, like for example, we've seen that with Diljit, we've seen that with A.R. Rahman earlier, and a lot of. So those are multi-city ticketed shows, and then they plot the city depending on where they feel the ticket sales will be on the higher side. Obviously, that is driven by a fan following. So that is one. But as far as the global acts are concerned, fan following stroke ticket sales, where they anticipate will be the highest, is what drives that. Coldplay is an exception because they are doing a multi-year world tour uh, for this particular album. These acts, and there are genuinely huge fans who are waiting for such acts to come to India and to watch them live and experience. For example, one of the annual events that happen, Sunburn, and some of the greatest EDM artists and DJs keep coming to Sunburn every year. So that is another example of how this is determined.
Sunburn is an extremely popular annual concert that has been happening in Goa for over a decade. Same for NH7 or Lollapalooza. But recently, people have started to realize the difference between the facilities that are provided in concerts abroad. In stark contrast, international concerts offer fans a seamless experience. Clean venues, efficient logistics, and superior production quality set a standard that India has yet to achieve. It's no wonder that many Indian fans are choosing to travel abroad for concerts, finding better value for their money in places like Dubai and Bangkok.
Like, we could be a great destination. We already are in terms of Sunburn and NH7 and all these festivals happening in India. We could be a great destination for all these visiting artists, and you could combine it with tourism, and you could do whatnot. The sky's the limit. However, our good old chalta hai attitude is what I think stops us from, because ultimately for the promoter it's about that one evening, right? What does he care? He's hiring a venue. What does he care if the venue has, say for example, proper sanitation facilities or not, right? So if I'm a promoter, I'm putting in money, I bring in the artist, I'm spending a huge amount of money, and so the venue for me is the last thing that I would be worried about in terms of adherence to global standards, if I can use that term.
With ticket prices steadily rising, fans are demanding more for their money. Pre COVID, an average ticket for an Indian artist cost Rs 3,500. Today, that number has doubled. Without significant improvements, the loyalty of Indian concert goers is at risk. India's concert industry holds immense potential, both culturally and economically. A recent report by Bank of Baroda estimated that host of recent and upcoming concerts in India can amount to a spending push of rupees 1600 to 2000 crore rupees. With government intervention, dedicated venues and better management, the country can indeed transform its chaotic concert scene into a world-class experience.
What IPL did to the cricketing world, purely in terms of, look at how beautiful it is managed, right? You have one body within the BCCI, which is governing IPL, the IPL governing council. It's the same situation. You have players from all around the world coming in, and it's such a grueling schedule. Within 60 days, they have X number of games, and they are constantly flying in from one city to another, checking in, checking out of hotels, and going to all these venues to play. But that's so beautifully managed because I think there is a professional body looking at it. An industry, the music industry has of course come a long way in terms of say PPL, IPRS, Copyright Acts, and all of that. Now there's a lot of method to the madness. There's a lot of structure around how that is managed. If we can now extend that and form one, I don't know if this is the solution, but I'm just saying if you had one governing body, a single window permission for if I'm a promoter and I want to hold a concert, if I had a single window clearance, which takes care of all these, people don't mind paying. We must realize that in India, people have the money. People do not mind paying for facilities, for world class facilities. If only we could have a governing mechanism which takes care of all the, I spoke to you about the checkboxes earlier. If somebody could take care of all of that as a single window clearance, then I don't have to run to different departments. I don't have to do all of that as a promoter. And I know that it's taken. And at the end of the day, it's not a social cause. It's not something that you're giving out free. I, I wouldn't mind as a ticket buying individual if I'm spending $1,000 for a ticket. Hypothetically, I wouldn't mind spending $1,200 for better facilities. I wouldn't mind paying for parking if there is parking.
But as there are suggestions for India's concert organizers and promoters, Vijay also suggested better behavior from India's concert-going audience.
For us as Indians, that has to come from within. No amount of education, nothing can change that behavior. It has to come from within. Forget concert going. The minute an airplane lands, everybody's standing up to grab their bags. I don't know what is the big hurry and standing in queue. So that has to come from within. No amount of education or nothing will work. Sadly.